What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. I will warn you right now, if you are not a football fan, the next couple weeks might be a little bit daunting for you. But if you are, then stick around. Seal, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantabulous, man. It's been a great weekend, a great start to the week. Doing a lot of stuff, doing some team building stuff with baby girl, trying to make sure our team over here is ready to go for anything. We beat up the morgue tonight, almost. I got to be honest with the people. We were about 45 seconds off of completing it. Whenever the time ran out, we literally had to switch one thing. Thing fell, put that in place. Game over. We just kind of spent a lot of time in the first leg, got really overwhelmed by one lock, and
Dang.
yeah, looked at everything but the actual key on the wall and right fucking
Was
in
it an
front of us.
actual two-person one, or were you guys doing a
It
harder one?
was no, it was small. Whenever we left,
Okay.
I was like, could you imagine doing that with 4 or 5 people? Like that would have been
Jeez.
really cramped. So no, there was one room we went by that looked really big, and yeah, where we were, it was definitely confined and was perfect for
Nice.
the two of us to do. And anybody in any relationship, I definitely think you should do it.
Yeah, they're
Even if you
fun, man.
yeah, it's awesome. Even if y'all have the best relationship in the world, it's cool to go into something together and try to figure out a problem and it not be a real life issue. It's something fun to do. You don't have to beat each other up over it.
And now
It's a
they have
good
it in virtual
problem
reality
starter.
too that you can can do.
I don't think I could stomach that. Have you seen the VR ride at SeaWorld or whatever it is?
Nah.
I think at SeaWorld they have a VR coaster now, and it's like it's outdoors, but you put the headset and everything on and it's like an aquatic ride. It's
Oh,
crazy.
weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This is the next dude. Ready Player One is on
I
its
know we're
way.
right there, bro. I'm excited.
But yeah, and also, man, Thursday, millions and millions. I think it was like 5 point something million people watched the kickoff, 20% more than last year's. Well, I was there, and I wore this jersey. You're not gonna be able to see it on the camera, but there is dots and stuff everywhere. Got a couple of the Super Bowl flags. There's residue everywhere. We were in the nosebleeds right by one of the jumbotrons, and that's where all the pyro, whatever they're called,
Pyrotechnics.
is right behind that. So we were just getting bombarded by ashes and shell residue, and we couldn't look up. Had to look over at the other side. If we went like this, it was just getting blasted,
Jeez.
covering up our drinks and stuff. But it was a good 15-20 minutes of fireworks, smoke, and celebrating your newest Super Bowl championship banner that's hanging up. That's about 5 feet tall compared to that big ass stadium.
Yeah, I saw it's a really small banner, but and then they brought out these massive fucking trophies
Dude,
or
those
whatever they
things were
were.
cool as shit. I have took a couple pictures of those. Those were huge. And one of the pictures I took of the field, I don't know if I sent it to you. I will get that one to you. But it takes up the whole tunnel. Like when they're
Yeah,
willing it out from the back, it takes up that whole tunnel. And tunnels aren't small if it's like 7 NFL players shoulder to
right.
shoulder. So yeah,
Jeez.
them things were huge. It was awesome. The flyover was great. I forget the woman who sang the national anthem. Fuck Fox Sports. Their headline was a season opened by Black female singer. Like, who gives
Right.
a fuck?
Yeah.
But it was amazing. I wanted to record it, but I was like so in the moment that I forgot to press the big ass
I was
red button.
watching at that point. So
Yeah, I forgot to press the big ass red button. Just with everything going on, the 13 heroes, everything that went on, they were well represented. The military was, and then the flyover, it was absolutely amazing. Definitely a emotional moment for any football fan. And I didn't have a cat in the fight, so I yelled out, "Let's go football!" Probably more. Hey,
here we go. Shout out to
America!
the
Yeah,
America
more than I
for a
ever
little
have in
bit.
my life. It was amazing. It was a great game. And it was baby girl's first official regular season game. I did take her to a preseason Jaguars game last year. That was shit. Bad weather. Falcons, bad team. Jaguars last year, 1-15, bad team. So for her to see the GOAT, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Zeke, Amari Cooper, Vita Vea just eating boys all day long.
Yeah, he
Gronkowski
was.
getting a couple touchdowns. AB burning dudes. It's a game that she'll never forget, and I am so excited I was able to get her there, and we were able to witness that because there's not going to be a better game this year. And for years to come, that's going to be the best opener of a season for decades. And
Yeah.
we were there. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool that you got to be there. And there's a lot of good games this week that we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, to have the champions right in your backyard for the most part, to get out there and get to see them is a really big deal. I'm sure me and my girl will get out to a game at some point, but it's not going to be as good unless something just crazy happens. But the Chargers and the Rams are not impressive. Actually, the Chargers were kind of impressive, but we'll talk about all that stuff as well. But man, fuck the Rams. But before we get to the
they're gonna be scary.
Before we get to the football news, let's start with some headlines just to recap that we do talk about all sports, and there are a couple big things. And the most important thing is, or with basketball, which is in the offseason, nothing's happening, but the Rockets are reportedly looking to trade John Wall. What are the odds that he goes to a super team, and why is it like 100%?
Because that's today's age in the NBA. And if he wasn't going to go to a super team and he was going to be willing to sit there and rebuild for the last 2-3 years of his career, he'd stay in Houston. Right. They have a great second pick, and Green is his last name, right? He's going to be
Jalen Green, I think.
He's going to be really good. He's a shooting guard, I believe. So them two together would be fun to watch. But he's not down for that shit. He's trying to get a ring. He's getting up there. He knows what time it is. Everybody's playing his high school highlights, like all these ESPNs, and all his life plays like he's not in the league anymore.
Like he's on his retirement tour already.
So he understands what time it is. So yeah, he's definitely going to end up on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, you think the Bucks?
I'm gonna call it now. That's a great fit.
I'm calling the Clippers. I think he's gonna go to the Clippers.
It's not a great fit. He's gonna not even probably get past the first round with them guys. Go to the East. Go to the Bucks. He's a great fit for that team and what they want to do. He's another Drew Holiday-ish kind of guy. And he doesn't have to do it all, but when he needs to, like Drew, he can do it. Like he can definitely get it done. And yeah, I don't see him going to the Lakers.
He's a better passer than Drew, which is nice, but he's the worst defender. Yeah. So I mean, he'll give some, he'll take some.
Yeah, and the Bucks definitely they have defense covered on that second.
Yeah, for sure.
That second end squad. They're bench guys.
Right.
But yeah, no, I would like to see him. I'm not gonna say I call it. I would love to see it. And they definitely would benefit more than any other team.
What if he goes to Miami?
Acquiring him. What if he went to Phoenix, dude? You wouldn't take him?
For who, though? It's a trade. It's not like we're just getting him.
Well, that's true, but he'd be replacing Campaign, so add him in that mix.
What, we give him Bridges and Payne? Like, what kind of, and some picks? Like, what would they take for John Wall?
Bridges, for sure. I think Bridges would definitely help them out. He's a younger guy.
Yeah.
And help Payne's a younger guy. So I think them two, and yeah, second round pick. Yeah, that's definitely a good trade package, I think, for one guy and John Wall. And for Phoenix, they're trying to get it done now. And to get John Wall over Campaign, yeah, you might have to.
Yeah, but I think Bridges helps us out a little bit more than John Wall would, personally.
True.
But who knows? I don't really want him. I think if he goes to the Heat, that would be a good team.
For sure.
And they could actually give up a lot of good pieces to get him.
The Celtics would be a good, pretty much the top 4 or 5 teams in the East. He'd be a really good fit for.
Given that,
except Washington, but they're not a top 5 team anymore.
What if they just trade him back to Washington?
That would be hilarious.
So another big headline that I should have started with, but whatever, because we're bad people over here. The U.S. Soccer decides to pay not pay them the same, but they're offering complete identical deals to the men and the women. That's a huge step. I mean, obviously the U.S. women have been carrying soccer for a long time. And we've talked about how a lot of times they don't play similar things. I mean, in tennis, you play 3-set matches instead of 5-set matches, blah, all these sports that are just different. Well, soccer's not as much like that. And the women have just been carrying soccer. So it's cool to see at least an equal deal come out, and we'll see what they say after that. But what do you think about them having identical deals?
I like it. I agree with it. And for the U.S. side of it, their thing is if they want it in soccer, it's going to be a whole thing. Well, like you just mentioned, I don't feel like it's going to be the case because a lot of these, like even with basketball, people don't really talk about women's basketball when it comes to the Olympic level because of what the USA if we lose a game in 30 years, it's a bad thing. If we lose 2 games, We suck. We don't deserve to even win the gold. That gold's tainted. That's why it's used with recycled material. It's trash. It's not a real gold medal. Like, that's why women will never get paid equally, because the men's basketball team really, with endorsements and everything, probably brings in a good 30-40%. And that's probably not right, because there's so many Olympic sports and all that stuff, and so many different sponsors with bobsleds and all this shit that happens that I'm probably wrong on. But from the naked eye, it seems like men's basketball would be probably the biggest. Second is women's soccer, and when it comes to the Olympics and the U.S. sports teams, it would be women's soccer. So yeah, I feel like they should be getting an equal, if not more, until Christian Pulisic is able to come together and they're able to produce something on the field instead of just being a big name signing with the U.S. men's soccer team. Yeah, no, the women should be getting more than the men's, and I'm happy they at least said, all right, let's go and give them the same pay as them. But I don't think it's over. If they keep winning cups and the guys are sitting over, they're falling off, they're gonna be like, bro, you are still paying them the same as us. They're fucking trash.
Yeah.
Like, they're trash. We're winning Super Bowls every fucking year. We're winning every cup every season, no matter what it is. If it's a national thing, international thing, we're winning. And what have they done? They can't even get into the tournaments.
Right. Well, I think the women were smart. It's not whatever the Women's Soccer Players Association, whatever they want to call themselves. I think they were smart because they obviously believe that they deserve more. If it's a complete meritocracy, if it's just based on how good you are and what you do, then they deserve more. But they didn't reach out for more. They didn't try to do too much crazy. Rapinoe has said oftentimes, like, listen, we will take equal. Like, that's fine. Just start somewhere, give us equal. And for them to quote unquote compromise at that point is a smart move to just get that ball rolling. And now that we've seen a precedent set, I think other sports will start to come along. And then, the guys are now going to have to prove themselves, because at older ages, it was just, well, the guys just get more. It's just what happens. And it's like, no, why don't you try? Why don't you get better? And then we'll pay you more. So that's really cool. I like that. I appreciate that. And soccer's the right move to do it, because that's the one spot where women are just 100% better than the men. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, as far as headlines are concerned, if it's even a talking point, is basically what I want to ask you. Josh Gordon's still trying to come back, and the NFLPA sided with him. They said he should get reinstated. Do you think he should get reinstated? I mean, I don't know how many chances you're supposed to get, but
he should. I mean, if he's able to, then yeah, I mean, there's no rule on that, right? I don't think there is it's just, you get in trouble, you got to stay out this much. And it doesn't matter.
He's been suspended, what, like 4 times though? I think there's like this is 4 or 5 times extended penalty every time.
So yeah, I mean, until they set a rule like, hey, 3 strikes, you're out kind of rule, then yeah, give the guy another chance. I mean, he gets good for a little bit, then the offseason comes, and now the rules are different. So maybe he'll be able to sustain an actual run in this league for a while. And I mean, he's still a top 30 wide receiver in this league. Like, he can be the number 1, number 2 receiver on at least 10 teams in this league right now. And if you can add Josh Gordon as a slot receiver, just to say, hey, listen, let's add this huge flash motherfucker and put him in the slot. That's 32 teams right there. They go 31 teams, because Tampa seems to have every fucking slot receiver in the world.
We're the one
right
that's
now.
Going to get him. So.
Yeah. That's taking Godwin and Miller's slot time away. And those 2 guys right there are eating it the fuck up. I don't think I saw too much of Scotty Miller, but Godwin.
He had one catch, get taken back because of a fumble.
Godwin went off in the fucking slot. Off in the slot. So yeah, no, I don't see that. But yeah, every single team in the league besides the Buccaneers would definitely take Josh Gordon if they're able to line him up in the slot. And that he deserves a chance, I feel like, just because he continues to realize what he's done, tries to fix it because he loves the game. If he didn't love the game, he'd end up like this guy. What was his name in Miami? He liked to smoke a lot of reefer. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. He
got high and forgot he wasn't
way better than Josh Gordon, and just couldn't get it together. And it seems like day in and day out, Josh Gordon fucks up, doesn't care, and then after he loses it, he realizes how much he really loves it and wants it back. That never happened for Ricky. He obviously had a moment where he knew it was over, and he had to change his ways and said, nah, I like this feeling a lot better than getting hit.
Didn't he like join the preseason of one team and then just like dropped out before the preseason or got cut or whatever. But
I don't remember.
I think he was old and fat at that point. But yeah, now that they don't test for marijuana anyway, maybe Josh Gordon will be good to go.
Yeah.
He just keeps coming back. He gets 30 fantasy points for like 2 games, and then he gets suspended again every few years. But I hope he's back, and I hope he's back for good, because if it is just weed, I know he's had a lot of issues, but if it's just weed, like I'm over all the weed stuff at this point. I've been over it for a year and a half now. It's like, stop.
Yeah,
It's not helping anybody. Just get through. Let's go.
in this day and age, it's really like it's just weed. Like
Yeah.
a huge percentage. It's just really legit. The old whites, the people who
Yeah.
run the NFL, who are 70, 80 years old and who are raised on all the Reagans and the Nixons and all this, the devil's lettuce type shit. And like, there's so much science to prove it's just weed. Like, it's just weed. It doesn't matter how much you smoke it. You're just going to look stupid and silly. But those people, they have a lot more to fucking lose than people who go to work at a convenience store that smoke it to where they look stupid and silly. Like, what was that movie? Ah, man. Clerks.
Oh,
Jay and
yeah.
Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, no, that shit doesn't happen for them. Maybe in the off season, maybe after it's all over and they're trying to heal up and they sit in an ice bath and they just roll a big fatty and get really stupid because they haven't smoked like that in 6 months. Yeah, that might happen, but they're not doing that on a daily basis during the season. Definitely probably going to sleep, helping out with a little bit of CBD oil rubbed on, and definitely the THC oils help out a lot more just because they're able to help out with inflammation like that. So yeah, they're definitely going to have THC in their systems, but I doubt during the season they're out there getting baked like Dave Chappelle did in that movie.
Right. No, I agree. I don't think they're using weed before a game. I mean, unless they just want to, but like they're not using it to try to get better at football.
Have you noted, like, there's so many basketball players that have came out saying they played every single game of their career high.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen in NFL. It can't happen. They're saying they're doing the little salt sniffer things to bomb and wake up. You can't, if you're drowsy in any way and you miss a half a step, you're fucked. Yeah. So it's definitely an after game routine, not a pre-game routine.
It's recovery for them, I'm sure, more often than not.
So yeah, and I feel like for Josh Gordon, it's something he's probably always done and got away with, and he thought he could do it in NFL. And every time he felt like he could probably find a loophole, and just they knew his track record and knew they could get him. He was just always that guy that got fucked. Like Sacramento's point guard took a picture after a workout one day, and a whole bunch of people in the comments were Darian Fox. Is that his name? De'Aaron Fox. Everybody was joking with him, saying, "Hey, you're about to get drug tested. You're about to get drug tested." 2 days later, he posted on IG how he got a message from an NBA rep saying that he had a randomly been selected for a drug test. So, like, I mean, that's just if they see shit over and over and over, you're going to get tested. It's just going to happen. That's the way it works. They get money from you. It's easy money for them.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It is money, and that's unfortunate. But hey, best of luck to Josh Gordon. Hopefully you can make it back again and
go to Jacksonville
within the rules with whatever he's got to do. Yeah, you guys need something.
DJ Shark looks scared to catch the ball. Marvin Jones is just running smooth ass routes and not getting seen because it's all Laviska Shenault or nothing.
Yeah, and well, I don't know how much of it I was on trying to get. We can talk about your guys now. How to get Trevor Lawrence comfortable and doing his thing, or how much of it is just Urban Meyer not understanding NFL and trying
all
to
on that system. It's all on that system. It's all on the coaching staff. A lot of reports coming out. Urban Meyer was very pissed off at the offensive coordinator. Don't remember his name. Don't give a fuck. Neville. He did a lot with Seahawks. I think he won a Super Bowl with them. But Russ being Russ definitely extended his offensive coordinating career.
Right.
Went to Detroit. Did you hear about Detroit in the last couple of years since the Seahawks had any success? No.
I think there were a few 0-16s in there.
Yeah, so no, the guy sucks. Why he got it put on this staff is beyond me. But yeah, there's a lot of talk saying Urban was really pissed off. James Robinson, 1,000-yard rusher last year, had 5 touches the whole game, no touches the first quarter. Leaned on Carlos Hyde, the veteran. Why? I don't know. If you know about Carlos Hyde the last 3 seasons, he hasn't done shit. It's taken him like the last 6 seasons to get 1,000 yards. James Robinson did it his first year. So, and with an ass line, our line's a little bit better this year. They have another season under their belt together, and they actually didn't do too bad. They weren't the Giants sitting there blocking each other over the weekend. So yeah, it's a lot on the play calling. You can't let a guy in his first year I mean, I guess you can assume that Houston's going to suck so much that you can go out and throw 50 fucking times, but you can't do that. Like, that's not going to happen in NFL. This isn't college. If you are going to do that, you better be the fucking Kansas City Chiefs and be able to run 10 fucking plays in a drive.
Right.
Like, that's the only time that needs to happen. And you get 7 drives in and you have 75 plays and you run a 50-25 split on runs and you're still running the ball a fucking hell of a lot. Didn't happen. We're not going to win games in the NFL. We're playing the Broncos this week. Like, if you think Trevor Lawrence is going to be scared of fucking Houston, which he really wasn't, they were able to get in there a little bit.
He started out kind of rough and then he got
but he went 7 for 8 to start the game.
Well, no, but he had 2 interceptions. He wasn't looking all that great. He was finding little screen passes to Chenault, like you said, but then he started kind of getting comfortable and opening it up a little bit.
And opened it up. He had 335 yards, the third most in a debut of a rookie quarterback. I'm not mad at it. When Peyton Manning had his first, he had 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. So 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I think 2 interceptions. I think it was. It's not on Trevor Lawrence. I'm not putting that on Trevor. It's 1,000% on the coaching staff. I've talked about Andre Cisco a lot, how excited I was about him. He didn't get the start. Joe Dirt, if you've heard me talk about Joe Dirt, he's made like 2 plays his whole career. Hasn't made a play since 2018. He got the start. He needs to sit on special teams. That's what he's there for. And if Andre Cisco gets hurt, Andre Cisco got put in, Texans stopped being able to throw the ball deep. I mean, it's just it's night and day with putting bum people on. But that's one of those things where college people are going to sit there and to go with their game plan, stick with it, and try to make an adjustment. And what I've learned is that whole halftime adjustment thing is just sports talk. Doesn't really happen. You have the coaches get together, they talk a little bit, they'll go to their key players, the linebacker that calls in or the safety that calls in the plays, talk to him, have them talk to their teammates, go to the quarterback, see what they were looking at, and that's it. You don't really you have 15 minutes. That shit goes by fast. You don't have time to sit there and look at previous plays and make adjustments. That's why you're sitting on the sideline with tablets. That's what all that shit's for, while the defense is on the field. So they're just sitting there like, all right, hey, we have a second half. Maybe it's going to be ours. And then we go out and just get fucked on defense again. A lot of penalties, a lot of drop balls. And when it comes to penalties, that's a lot of practice. And yeah, it's not looking good. We just got beat by the potential worst team in the NFL.
And you guys let them score at will. It looked like it was pretty rough.
It was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. Their running back core looked amazing, and their running back core.
And we know they're not
Clown University before. Like, who is it? Philip Lindsay. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember the other dude. I'm not even gonna look at it. I guess I should. Philip Lindsay wasn't even the fucking starter, which was crazy to me. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit. Oh yeah, Mark Ingram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mark Ingram, Duke Johnson.
So a bunch of cast-offs came out there and rolled you guys. So
yep,
that's tough.
Tyrod Taylor. I mean, it is tough, and it sucks for them because if they keep fucking up, I mean, they're still going to get the best quarterback in the draft. It just might end up being the 5th pick now.
Right. That's true, because all the worst teams are going to be teams that don't need a quarterback. We don't think potentially, but let's move on and let's Seal have his break, and we'll talk about a couple of other big games that were pretty fun, at least to me. And that is a few teams that were surprisingly bad. And first off, I will start with a team that is just piss poor. And listen, everybody talks up Kyler Murray. They think he's the best thing since sliced bread, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a huge fan of him, but the Titans looked terrible. I know you called it they weren't going to be as good as they were before, but they weren't even that. I mean, they might battle Houston for worst team in your division. They were terrible.
They were. I shouted Tannehill. I texted you. He's a dog. He's not going to try to lose at all. He
also got me negative 0.3 points though.
Damn.
On my bench though.
But good shit. But yeah, that Arizona team does look good. Like, yeah, I don't think Kyler Murray is the greatest. That scramble play though.
I mean, that's what it is. He can just.
But still, 9 out of 10 times he's going to go to the right, and right when he breaks back to the left, there's going to be 9 out of 10 times somebody smacking the fuck out of him knocking him out for at least 2 to 3 weeks. And they're
Imagine
going
he's
to call
playing
a
the
flag.
Steelers. Imagine he's playing the Steelers and he tries to do that. And he rolls around and TJ Watt is just there
that's
to
what I'm
just
saying.
smash him.
So 9 out of 10 times, yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. But yeah, no, Tennessee isn't what they used to be. They don't have that like feared defensive line anymore. They really don't. And it's sad to see, but not. But it was awesome to watch for me as a Jaguars fan. I like to see it. And yeah, that Arizona team is definitely going to be scary in an NFC conference that is strong as I think all of them won, right?
Yeah, that all the West teams.
Yeah. They all won NFC North. Who is it? I forget who it is. There's one team that won in the NFC North. So yeah, did
any team win in the North? The Lions lost, the Packers lost, the Vikings lost, didn't they? Or did the Vikings win? Chicago lost.
Yeah, the Vikings lost. Yeah, so the North lost. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next team I wanted to talk about. So great transition anyway, is the Green Bay Packers. The North was supposed to be theirs to win. They had the defending MVP, blah, blah, blah. Well, they went into Jacksonville to play the Saints, and it looked like a home game for the Packers because, I mean, they travel a lot better than New Orleans, I guess, but they shit the bed. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, and my girl's not a sports fan, not a huge sports fan, but I mean, obviously she has eyes, and she's like, this dude doesn't want to be here. He doesn't give a shit about playing for these guys. And that's exactly what it looked like. I mean, he just did not care. He was throwing up these dumb little like shovel interceptions that he should have just held on to, and he just doesn't care.
Yeah, it was weird. Shout out to New Orleans. They definitely did their research on Green Bay and know that they suck in Florida, and that there are a lot of Saints fans that are in Florida that have moved since Katrina hadn't have moved over here. There's a shit ton in Florida since, what was it, 2004?
Yeah, something like
that. Yeah, something like that. But so yeah, there was a lot of fans there, and shout out to Jaguars and TIA Bank, whatever people are there. They brought out the Saints tarps, the side tarps and everything.
It looked great.
They definitely did their part in helping out the Saints feel at home, at least from a field level view. I mean, there's not too much you can do with the shit up in the top, but they put the Saints shit on there, the logo, they put the end zone, it looked just like at the big old dome. But yeah, so it was good. Jameis felt at home. There was a lot of Jameis jerseys, a lot of old jerseys in the
like high school
there.
Shit. Yeah.
Not a lot there. I saw a couple Florida States in the fans, but there was definitely a lot of people that did what I did on Thursday and just went to watch football. And we're happy. A lot of Bucks Jameis jerseys. But yeah, it was cool to watch. And it looks like I might have been right. Jameis might be the answer
now that he can see.
Needs. Yeah, dude. Like, he was throwing the ball everywhere. That defense, look, that second, like, all they did was say, run the ball. Yeah. That's literally all they did. Run the ball. They couldn't. They'd get 2 yards here, 3 yards there, 3rd and 5. All right. There's 6 people in the defensive back, like 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah, they never even blitzed. I don't think they blitzed, like, maybe
it was
5% of the time.
And with Lattimore and that defense, like, they were ready. They were always there. Devontae Adams wasn't able to do shit, and that's the whole offense. So yeah, they literally just put 6 people in the backfield or the defensive backfield every single play and said, run the ball, because that's all we're going to give you. And even then, they weren't able to beat them off their front four. It was crazy to watch. Yeah. And it really, after the second quarter, before halftime, going into the 4th possession, it was like, yeah, get me fucking out of this game. And then whenever Jordan Love came on, he was just chilling. Like, he was just chilling.
And Jordan Love looked okay too. I mean, he didn't look half bad.
He was, and I love the NFL memes thing that they posted saying that, just so you know, Tom Brady's 7 years older than the guy on the left. And it was Aaron Rodgers in the post-game interview. And he even just looked in like, yeah, are we done here? Can I go home?
Yeah, he just did not care. And that's a sad thing, because we already knew that Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be there, but you figured if he thought they had a chance at winning the Super Bowl, he would care. He would try to come out and play. So it looks almost like he's just pulling kind of a LeBron, like, dude, I don't think this team's good enough. So I'm going to collect my paycheck and do what I can, go through the motions and be out of here at the end of the year.
Yep, that's exactly what I see. And I hope that's not the case. I hope he saw what was happening on defense and knew that there was no way in hell that they were going to be able to get anything done with the offense that was being called.
Right.
So, like you say, he was just like, you know what? Yep, nope. LaFleur doesn't got this one, and he's not going to let me check it. We talked. Came out in the off season how we kind of butt heads. I don't do this. I don't do that, and I'm not even going to start that week 1. So whatever you want, boss man. We're not going to win this one. You suck at play calling. Let's get.
I think that was part of it. That was that Kobe I'm going to pass every time game where he's like, I will do whatever play you call, and we're just going to see what happens.
Yeah,
it wasn't working.
He was on a podcast today, and they asked him, like, is it LaFleur that's in your headphones and your mic? And he was like, yep. Like he didn't, it wasn't anything except he wasn't like, yeah, he wasn't just answering the question. It was definitely yep. Yep, it's that dumb motherfucker there. And he was like, so after you get the play call, do you like there's you can hear him up to 15 seconds. Like, do you like to get up to the line so you can hear from him? He's like, no, after I get my call, I don't want to hear anything. He's like, he knows it. I let it be known day one. I don't like it. Don't do it. Not with it. So, yeah, I definitely see this. If he does feel like his team has a chance, we're going to see him become Peyton Manning 2.0 and just not even give a fuck about what's coming through the headset. Throw whoever the fuck he wants out of the huddle.
He might even pull a different helmet off of the sideline that doesn't have the mic in it and just come out.
Like, definitely pull a Peyton Manning 2.0 and just say, fuck it. This is my team for the last year. I know I'm not going to sign back with them. I'm done. And they can go fuck themselves. I'm going to try to get us a ring while I can, because he admits every day he loves this franchise. He loves this city. He loves the organization. He just doesn't like the people in charge and doesn't think they're running it the right way.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be pretty cool to see him do kind of like a job interview, basically just like doing his own thing and showing what he can do. I'd like that.
Yeah. Go somewhere. I don't even know where he would go, to fucking Washington, and be like, hey, Ron, see what I can do on my own. You don't even need anything. Just keep worrying about your recovery.
You do your defense.
Yeah, you worry about what you got to do in your own life. You worry about defense. I got the offense. Don't even hire an offensive coordinator. I got it.
That'd be awesome for them. I mean, not for
us.
Like,
who needs a quarterback really right now?
Like, Vegas. Honestly, Vegas might not need a quarterback.
They don't.
I don't like Derek Carr, man.
Derek Carr went back to 2018 on us real quick, bro. He looked good. He was airing the ball out, and he doesn't have receivers.
Darren Waller. He has Darren Waller. He's not even no receiver.
Ruggs, Ruggs was able to chase down it whenever he threw the one. I think it was off the play action. Whenever he threw it over to the right numbers.
Yeah.
Like whenever they went over, it was green grass. And then here comes Ruggs just fucking chasing that bitch down and dropping on it. Like, I mean, it's going to be Ruggs and Waller. And if you were able to get Ruggs in the 7th round, like everybody else, congratulations to you. I was somebody who got Jamar Chase. So let's fucking go. Maybe my fantasy isn't dead. But yeah, Derek Carr, if he can get rid of those overthrows, he's going to be really good with those 2 wide receivers. And Renfro coming out of the slot, he's going to be able to open up. But everybody was able to game plan on that. Like, they knew if there was one thing that they knew, it was we're going to let Darren Waller beat us, but we cannot let Hunter Renfro get the ball. And they didn't let Hunter Renfro do shit in the slot. It was all Darren Waller, barely at all.
They were bumping him every time.
Yeah, real fourth quarter, he was at the first quarter, he got a couple catches. Fourth quarter, he was finally able to come alive. And then Ruggs every once in a while. Shout out to Josh Jacobs. You could definitely see that he was hurt.
He was trying.
That toe's bothering him. He didn't get a lot of touches, didn't get a lot of yards, but when he did get the rock, it counted, it mattered. Drake, he did his thing too.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they definitely picked up for the slack and the wide receiver core. And Darren Waller is a fucking monster.
Yeah, I'm glad I got him. I chose him over George Kittle in all 3 of my leagues. So I'm extremely happy about that choice. I was nervous because George Kittle was going as the number 2 tight end in every league. And I said, no, I want Waller. I want Waller and I want Waller. And obviously him going off for like 27 points got me 3 wins. So
I did Kittle and Pitts because I wanted to get Brandon Ayuk, who got me 0 points. I had to sneak in a quick wide receiver, a second wide receiver. So Brandon Ayuk was still there. And I knew this is our league that I'm talking about. And I knew I would be able to get Kyle Pitts in the next round. So I snuck Brandon Ayuk. 0
Nothing.
points, a big ass fucking egg.
And then it comes out later that he's still trying to like learn how to play football or whatever the hell they
Bro,
said.
Deebo
Like,
Samuel's
what?
over here fucking eating, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like, this is fuck fantasy football.
I had Brandon Ayuk in as a flex in my money league with Deebo Samuel sitting on a bench collecting dust. And luckily I came away with a win. I don't know how. Well, I do know how. It's because I had Amari Cooper, Tyreek Hill, and Darren Waller, but it was very surprising. But anyways, let's get back to real football. And the last quote unquote disappointment that I wanted to bring up is a team that won. I was disappointed, but it's one of those, do you think they should panic yet? Or is it just them turning it on, clicking when it counts? And that's the Kansas City Chiefs. They were outplayed for 58 of those 60 minutes and then just found a way to win. And they found a way to win because the Browns can't punt. And then Baker Mayfield just gives the ball right back to him when he has a chance to win. What do you think about both the Browns, I guess, too, but the Chiefs, where I will come out and say I was disappointed in the way they play?
I'm definitely disappointed in their defense. It's not good. They're going to get a lot of points scored on them. So definitely the Chiefs are going to end up being some kind of college football team. But yeah, they're going to have to get it together for 4 quarters. There's too many good teams out there right now that in the Browns proved that they're one of them. Yeah. And when they face off again, I don't see it being the same. They're going to have tape, and the Browns kind of got comfortable. I feel like once they got that 9-point lead and really let them come back and fight for that victory there at the end. And man, you got to feel for the punter for the Browns. The first time he touched the ball all day, fucked up the handle, and really gave the Chiefs the momentum to put it away and get that next score and just get all of the momentum at that point and really solidify the win. But if that doesn't happen, they're able to get it done. They're able to maybe not give them so much momentum. Right. And that 78-yard one-play drive.
That's what it is.
That pass.
That's what they have.
And even then, that's to the Browns getting comfortable, letting him catch the ball and not attacking him the whole way through.
And it wasn't even a great throw. I mean, he had to come back and get it. So it's like
there was 2 defenders in the area, and they just kind of played the ball. At that point in time, you're dealing with Tyreek Hill. If you play the ball the wrong way, that's going to happen 10 out of 10 times. Yep. There's no doubt about it. So you can't rely on playing the ball at that point in time. Play him and do what you're taught to do. Put your fucking arm in between his chest and his hands and pop that bitch out. Like, play the receiver at that point in time. That's fucking Tyreek Hill. If you play the ball and let him come down with his feet on the ground, he's going to score that every fucking time.
Yeah.
That was a huge change. And then right after that, the punt happens and it's game over.
Yeah. I mean, Tyreek had 197 yards and a couple touchdowns. That's not going to happen every game. Travis Kelce, what he did is going to happen every game. But
it might, but the scary thing is, if it's not Tyreek, it's going to be Mecole Hardman.
That's true.
If it's not Mecole Hardman, it's going to be Kareem Hunt getting all these screen passes. If it's not him, it's because fucking Nick Chubb's they're just able to run the ball at will, and he comes in. If that doesn't happen, it's because Odell's coming off a fucking injury and racking up 3 touchdowns. Like, that team is the equivalent of the Kansas City Chiefs, and they have a way better defensive line, a way better secondary, and linebackers are pretty much even because they have some monsters in Kansas City and in Cleveland right now. So I have to give the nod to the Browns. If they play 10 times, it's probably going to be 6-5, 7-3 Browns in my eyes. I just don't think the Chiefs have it on defense like they need to.
Wow. Okay. I mean, the Chiefs, we'll actually get there right now and say, like, when we look at the standings now, I mean, in the AFC, we have Miami, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Houston, and the entire AFC West are all 1-0. So that leaves teams like Baltimore with 0-1, Buffalo with 0-1, Kansas City, like we just talked about, struggled a little bit. And again, it's overreactions. It's week 1 out of 17, but who are you the most impressed with in the AFC if you have to think moving forward to win the AFC crown?
The Browns. I am way more impressed with the Browns than anybody. I got to tip my cap to the Steelers. They were definitely able to come back and put something together, but maybe that could be on the coaching staff and Sean McDermott of the Bills, and they just weren't able to finish it off and maybe that defense is a little suspect this year as well. But after the game I saw from the Browns, they definitely have it, and they have it, and they just got caught by the Chiefs being the Chiefs. And some after more game, that's week 1. That's why a lot of betting people wait a couple weeks to start betting on NFL football, because anything can fucking happen in week 1. I mean, the Houston Texans can beat the Jaguars in week 1 of the NFL season. It can happen. So now I'm definitely more impressed by the Browns. I'm sure I want to get your pick in before we talk about who we are least impressed with.
Yeah. So I'm going to wait like the pros and not bet for a couple weeks, but I was most impressed by the Chargers, and not because they like played out of this world. They only won like 20-16, but the defense is back. Derwin James is back. These dudes are good. And I think the offense is just still doing that. We didn't play Justin Herbert all preseason. We're trying to get our sea legs under us. And I was very impressed that when they needed it the most, Herbert knows what he's doing. We know that already. He had an amazing year last year, and he knows what he's doing. And if Derwin James can stay healthy and that defense can stay doing what they're doing, they're going to be a force. But obviously the AFC West is very difficult, but I can see the Chargers winning that division at least. I don't know that I'll bet on them to win the whole AFC, but I was very impressed with what they did this past week.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that's a team we looked at last year and said, hey, if they can get a coach that doesn't tell them week 3 they're out of the playoffs, and so they have somebody that's going to fight for them because they have a lot of dogs on their team. They got rid of a big distraction of Melvin Ingram and sent him to Pittsburgh, which really helped them out a lot this weekend
for sure,
and being able to beat Buffalo. But yeah, I like that pick in the Chargers. I can definitely see them being a workhorse and maybe being able to. They're not going to win the division over there by any means, I don't think. But if they did, that would be some crazy shit. That'd be some Miami winning 2 type shit. Like, it'd be a huge deal if they ever win that division over the Chiefs and the Broncos. That'd be fucking crazy. But I can definitely be able to see them beating out the Broncos for a wild card this year, 1,000%. But I don't know, Teddy Two Gloves was looking pretty damn good over there too. But the team I have to say that I'm my biggest disappointment, least impressed. It's not even on them so much, man. It's just all the injuries that they came out with, and it's the Ravens. A lot of people looked at this. Las Vegas, not even the Raiders, just the betting people, the sports books looked at this as, all right, we're going to give away a lot of money this week because everybody's betting on the Ravens. And that blackjack app that we have actually has fake betting. You just bet the chips.
Right.
And I bet $15K on the Raiders to win, cashed that in. Over under 54, went over on that one, cashed that in. And I knew it was going to be high scoring just because, one, Marcus Peters is out. They're really going to have to rely on Humphrey to do a lot. And then that second year safety they have, it was just going to be too much for them. And it was crazy to see, man, a team that really doesn't have weapons, and the Raiders. And as long as you can keep them away from the red zone, you're pretty good. When it comes to the Raiders, they're pretty high on getting 3 and outs. It's hard to get moving because they don't have much going, and you don't really have to plan too much against them. Cover the seams.
Yeah.
That's it. That game over. Cover the seams, keep 5 in the box. Done.
Hollywood looked pretty good, but other than that,
that's it, man.
They don't have enough weapons.
Yeah, Lamar looked like he had to do too much, and he can't handle it. He can't. That's why Mark Ingram was so good for that team. He took a huge workload of Lamar on that offense, and with all the injuries they've had and the running back core, and then Marcus Peters, their huge cornerback going out. Yeah, you knew it was probably destined to happen, but that is a huge disappointment. A huge disappointment.
Well, we'll talk about the team I bet on a little later when we talk about good picks in the NFC, because I got a nice cash out on mine too. But the team I was most disappointed with in the AFC has to do with the team you were impressed with. And that's the Buffalo Bills. They were a home team against the Steelers, who have a washed up quarterback. They have all this, they have all that. And the Bills had no injuries as far as I know. I mean, not real injuries. They had Stephon Diggs, they had Gabe Davis, they have Devin Singletary, they have Josh Allen, and they put up nothing. And I know that the Steelers defense is looking really good. I picked them for my fantasy, and they're going to be really good. But the Bills are the class of the AFC East at this point, right? They're the easy favorite, and they just didn't look like it. And even though it was an ugly game in Miami, in Foxborough, where Miami beat the Patriots, I was more impressed with the Patriots and Miami than I was with Buffalo. I can't say the same about the Jets. They suck. But I was just not impressed with the Bills. They are going to be, if they don't clean it up, which I expect them to clean it up, but that was the one that disappointed me the most. I don't think it was really the Steelers necessarily winning because the Bills defense were doing what they could. They stopped Najee Harris. They didn't allow the Steelers to even score in the first half, right? Or not a lot at least. And it's just that Josh Allen couldn't put this game away. And that's a bad sign at home to not be able to put away a team like the Steelers who weren't even getting bets anywhere in Vegas. So,
yeah, I hate to see it, man. The Steelers are going to be really good on defense again, and it seems like that's what's able to get them going. And if Najee Harris is able to do what we think he's able to do, that's going to be a scary team this year. And yeah, man, that's going to be a fun division to watch for sure. But it's all up to the Ravens, man. And are we sleeping on the Dolphins, or do you think that was just?
I think they were pretty good. I mean, I think it was an ugly game. That's what I'm saying. Like both of those teams have to get better, but I think New England and Miami are just evenly matched, and that's why it looked so difficult.
So, do you think at this point in time those two teams are going to be able to beat Buffalo?
If the teams that played Sunday play all three of those teams, then yeah, both of those two teams could beat Buffalo. In my opinion, I don't know if I expect those teams for 17 games, but if what I saw Sunday happens for 17 games, yeah, I could see them beating Buffalo for sure. And I think Mac Jones is just going to keep getting better. I think Tua is just going to keep getting better. I think those are better outlooks. Like if I was a head coach, I'd want to go to one of those two teams over what the Bills have.
Real quick, should I drop the Ravens defense for the Browns defense? Ravens defense is trash, bro.
I don't do that shit on waivers. I don't drop defenses on waivers or pick up defenses on waivers.
I have to.
I wait till it's a free agent and then I
got to. Got to try it. All right.
It is better though. Yeah, I mean, definitely I'd do that, but I wait till free agents. But
football was crazy this week, dude. Like it was absolutely insane. There was a lot of big. I know we're not ending it right now.
No.
There's a lot of big storylines, but the biggest thing for me, for sure, was what division are they? The Packers and the Saints? They are
North.
Yeah.
Well, the Packers are in the north. The Saints are in the south.
Yeah. So I feel like those two teams are definitely going to be the teams to watch. In the NFC. With the Saints, is Jameis Winston going to be able to sustain what he was able to do? 5 touchdowns with what? 185 yards.
It was the least amount of yards with 5 touchdowns like ever, I think.
It was insane. And then with the Packers, we talked about just how ugly they were. And those two teams, it's going to be one of those two teams that are going to be trailing the Bucs and the NFC in my eyes. And that's going to be the two teams to look forward to. I feel like the Bucs are definitely going to be one of those teams on undefeated watch. For a little while.
If they can get past the Rams, then I don't know who could stop them honestly on their schedule.
Wow. Yeah, but those are the two teams to watch. The Rams are definitely, after this season, they're going to see what they have and figure out what people they need to get and put in place. And next season, that's definitely going to be a team to watch, especially if the Packers get rid of Aaron Rodgers and he ends up going somewhere else that isn't in the NFC. They are definitely going to be next in line to take the reins of the top 3 spots. But yeah, for me, after week 1, I'm looking at the Packers and I'm looking at the Saints and I'm seeing who's going to come out on top to face the Bucs at the end of it. Because I mean, the Rams, Bears, like who in the NFC are you worried about besides the Saints?
That's a perfect transition because 1, you didn't bring them up, and 2, they were the team that I bet on and I won with, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I don't want to overreact because I think the Atlanta Falcons are also going to be the worst team. They are going to get the number 1 overall pick. I think they're just the worst. If you watched any of that game, the Falcons are terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But the Eagles looked good, man. Devontae Smith is ready to play day 1. We knew he was going to be. But
how about his first touchdown being in the same place as his last touchdown in college?
Crazy.
That's
crazy.
Amazing.
And like Hurts looked like he might have taken the next step. Again, tamper it because the Falcons are terrible, but so is the NFC East. So Philly could easily cruise to an NFC East title. They get to
Yeah.
play Dallas, Washington, and New York twice. I mean, they could get 6 wins like it's nothing right there. And so I think Philly could really benefit from just an easy division where they're going to roll. And if they get a division win and then get to face a really shitty wild card team, they have a real shot. And I think I'm nervous for them because these guys are young and confidence is just going to keep growing. But the playoffs are obviously a different beast. And your first time through the playoffs, you're going to have some growing pains. But I'm scared of Philly, man. They looked good.
I don't know. I don't think their defense is anywhere near where the Cowboys defense is right now.
It's hard to tell when they're against Matt Ryan for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't see it. There's no playmakers. I don't see studs. I mean, I was at the game, so I was able to see Jalen Smith go fucking crazy. Anytime there was a run, Van Der Esch stuck his nose in there and really made Leonard Fournette look stupid. Like every single run, Van Der Esch had his nose right in there. The defense, the defensive backs, they were able to cause a lot of trouble there for Mike Evans. He was getting disrupted a lot. Chris Godwin was the one to go off because he was going up against the safety for the most part and the third cornerback. But yeah, I'm excited for the Philly people. Obviously, baby girl, she loves the team, and yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for that duo. That's a young ass duo. Jalen Hurts going into a second season. Devontae Smith as a rookie. If they're really able to find a connection there and keep that offense going, that's a beautiful piece to put a team around on that. Just get a better offensive line, get a good defensive stature going, and just build your pieces around your offense. Like, just with them two there, that's a touchdown a game. Like, that's easily a touchdown a game. They have huge chemistry together. They were able to show that in week 1. And then if he can get Zach Ertz going, Goddard, get those tight ends in the mix.
Goddard looked really good too. I mean, he was ready to play.
Yeah, he did. So. And Jalen's going to give you a good 50, 60 yards with his feet. So yeah, you can definitely just game plan for at least 14, 21 points for that team. And then you're not going to get you're not going to get probably more than 3 or 4 touchdowns, but that offense can definitely get you in enough shape to get a couple of field goals here and there. So if that defense can literally, hey, listen, 21 and under, we're getting dubs all day long.
Yep.
And like you said, in that division, maybe not against the Cowboys both times, but if you can keep those teams under 21 points, you're more than likely going to win a lot of games. And with that offense, it's going to be hard to outscore that offense in any non-conference game.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked about the NFL a lot. So we don't have a lot of time for the NCAA, but we do want to talk about next week's or this weekend's picks. But real quick, so let's roll through. There were a lot of upsets in week 2, a lot of bad upsets. And so I'm just going to group them together and we're just going to talk about them as a whole. Ohio State loses to Oregon. The Iowa State wasn't an upset, but the lower team won. USC lost, got their coach fired at home against Stanford, real tough. Texas got an invite to the SEC, and Arkansas said, not so fast. We want to let you know that we're still good as well. And then Utah lost to BYU, which looks really good for the future Big 12. BYU knocking off a power team like that. So with all those big ranked teams losing, who were you like, what were you most surprised about? Or like, what were you like, man, this was a fluke, or this team's just bad and they shouldn't have been where they were ranked?
The biggest thing for me was the Texas-Arkansas game. It was a statement. Last year, I think Arkansas went 6-4 in a only conference thing. So they beat 6 SEC teams.
Mostly SEC West teams too.
We can probably guess the 4 teams that they lost to because it's probably Georgia. It's probably Bama. It was probably maybe Tennessee on one of their wins, and it was definitely Florida. Yeah. So, I mean, they're not a bad – Arkansas is not a bad SEC team. If it was Vanderbilt beating them, I would be dying laughing, begging them to stay where the fuck they are because they have no chance in fucking hell of lasting in the SEC as a relevant team. You are going to get put to the bottom very fast, and it's going to be you and Bandy of the irrelevance. And so, no, I mean, Arkansas is not a bad team. They've had good coaching. They've had good players that came out of there. Who's the running back that came out of there? Run DMC, Darren McFadden.
Oh, yeah.
Came out of Arkansas. So, yeah, I mean, that's something.
Stidham. Stidham came from
Stidham
Arkansas.
did, yeah. But so yeah, I mean, but no, Arkansas is not a bad SEC team. So I mean, that's my biggest thing is that Texas maybe needs to look at their recruiting and say, all right, them Southeastern boys are no joke. Them boys are different than them boys here in Texas. We need to figure it out. And if we're going to be a part of that conference, then we need to get into the recruiting fields because obviously that's where the fucking cream of the crop is over there in Bama and Arkansas and Florida and over there on the East Coast. Yeah, Texas is good at football. Texas is diehard. We all know about Odessa and the Permian Tigers or whatever the fuck, Permian Panthers,
Yes,
football and all that shit there in Texas and how they bring out all these 5 stars. It's them, us, and
California baby.
Yeah. So yeah, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of players from a lot of states over here near me that just produce big country butterbread boys. And there's nothing like it. And that's why Bama just keeps getting the best players because they get the biggest players from Bama, biggest players from Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. It's insane over here how these boys are built. And like me and like in Palaca, we are runts. I'm 6 foot tall. I weighed myself today. I'm like 178 now. Nice. But 6 foot, when I was 6 foot, 190, 200, still, if I went and reunited with some of these boys, I'm a runt. These boys are huge. It's just something about being in the country. These boys are built different. So yeah, Texas A, they already made up their mind. They're coming.
Yeah, they're coming.
They learn real quick. They have a lot of decisions to make when it comes to recruiting and realize real quick Texas ain't the cream of the crop. It's all about the Southeast.
Yeah, I'm mad at myself. Out of all those games, I'm mad at myself because I bought into the Ohio State hype train when I hate Ohio State. And I said they were just flat because they were looking forward to Oregon. Well, in the honest truth, they clearly were not looking forward to Oregon. They just weren't good. And I think they'll bounce back. I still think they'll get pretty good. But they put themselves off on the wrong foot already because now in conference, they have to go to town because if they have 2 losses, it's really hard to make the playoffs. We've seen that. And Ohio State or the Big Ten gets that loss kind of just like the SEC and Clemson. You can have 1 loss and still be fine. But Ohio State got that loss out of the way real quick. So now they have to run clean through the Big Ten. And I don't know if they can do that. So
I think Michigan might be able to beat them. And that'll be hilarious at the end of the season to get knocked out like that. But no, that's what I texted you. I was like, did I pick Oregon? Because you like Oregon
more on them than I was.
I really like Oregon, but it's just you felt like you had to go with Ohio State just because they're seem like a better team. Robert Day, we know who the coach is at Ohio State. I don't know who the fuck Oregon's guy is, even though he looks like he would beat any coach's ass in the fucking college football rankings. Dude's swole as shit. But yeah, I had no idea. But yeah, Oregon's a great fucking team. It showed. I think they went up to number 4. Ohio State fell down to number 9.
All the way to 4, I think.
Yeah, but they're a good fucking football team. Ohio State is not this year. They were able to go on the coattails of great quarterbacks and great receivers for a little bit, and now seems like they don't really have either, and their defense isn't what it used to be. And yeah, I mean they got what is it exposed by a non-conference team, so they'll be able to get together against the Big Ten. But the way Michigan has been playing, dude, that's definitely an upset alert waiting to happen. 7-8 weeks from now?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ohio State's done. They're dead. I should get Ohio State jersey put on the wall.
To go onto the
Bucks
wall.
aren't dead. It's just those are really fucking cool to have.
And mine's no longer a dead wall. Mine's a happy wall again.
I don't think I should say mine's a wall of dead. It's a homage wall.
Yeah. So we're gonna move forward and we're gonna make a few predictions. We do have a few predictions to make because there are a couple of good games, but I want to start off, of course, with our teams as well. And it's finally test week, and this is when the teams really have to step up and play. We had a couple cupcake games, and now we're playing real boys. And Louisville is not what they were in the past, but UCF travels to Louisville to play Louisville. So we'll start out there because obviously Florida has quite a bigger game. So we'll save them till the end. But UCF.
I don't want to talk about that game.
UCF gets to travel to Louisville to play them. We beat them in UCF or in Orlando what do we think about this matchup? I mean, Louisville's already lost one of their games. They're not the same team, but
Yeah, Louisville's ass. Their defense sucks. I'm just going ahead and get it going right now. You don't have to keep talking. UCF by 20
by
at least.
20. All
At
right.
least. I'd say if me and you made a bet right now, and you're like, dude, what? I'll give you UCF. What will you give me? I'll give you 19 points. I'll give you 19 points towards Louisville just to put $20 on it right now. That confident. Bowser's going to go the fuck off. He's going to help me out. Hawkinson or whatever the fuck his name, Hexon, whatever his name is, he's not going to get another touch. He's not going to get a touch all season. Hescock, he's not going to do shit. Bowser's going to end up with like 4 or 5 touchdowns, like 200 yards. He's going to run all over the place. Probably, I'm going to say 85 yards after contact. And then Dylan Gabriel is just going to be able to start throwing all over him once they start throwing 5, 6, 7 guys in the box and start playing man coverage. He's going to be able to open up. Jay Flash is going to get it going. Pretty much everybody that's not on your team is going to get it going this weekend. No, I'm kidding. Brandon Johnson's probably going to go off too. But yeah, I just see this being a rout, man. It's really going to come together, I feel like, for UCF this weekend. It's not an offense that they're scared of. I don't really feel like they were too scared last week, but it kind of looked like they got
just took a little bit to get there.
Yeah, they got the game plan wrong and they had to tweak a little bit of stuff. And once they got together, it was just a smooth locomotive train going through and making a stop to Victory Town.
Well, you're a little more bullish than even Vegas is. I think we're only 9-point favorites, maybe 9.5-point favorites. But I think I'm a little nervous just for the sheer fact that we have always sucked on the road. But I'm hoping that Gus Malzahn, coming from the SEC, really knowing how to go into these way more hostile environments than Louisville will ever be. And he'll get our boys ready and he'll have it going. Obviously, Scott Frost never had that coaching experience. Heupel never had that level of coaching experience to go on the road and get something done. So Malzahn will be ready, have his boys ready, and I think we'll win as well. I hope it's by 20. I don't know that it'll be by 20, but that's going to be a good one. One that we don't normally predict because we normally just predict ranked games. There's one ranked team, but Cincinnati, they faced Murray State. They won like 45-7, and they moved down to 8 from 7. We knew this as the group of 5 schools. This is what it takes. They get to face Indiana in Indiana. I know it's Indiana, their basketball school, but they are a Power 5 school. What does Cincinnati need to do to really make a statement, and are they going to do it? We can predict this game.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get it done. Cincinnati has one of the best defenses in college football, I feel like, outside of 2 or 3 SEC teams. I feel like they're probably just lingering behind. They'd be a great fit for the SEC, I feel like, just because of how amazing their defense is. They're producing fucking talent in the NFL and their front 8. It's ridiculous what they're able to do. But you got to give it to Cincinnati, and I'm not going to say they're going to win by 20 or anything like that, but it's going to be like a 35-17, something like that, close, but not too close. They're going to be able to open up in the end and just waste the clock and run it out. And I don't think it's going to be a fast start for them. They're definitely going to see that Indiana and that conference is no joke. It's really not. They're going to see what they're looking forward to, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. But Cincinnati's definitely going to show why they're one of the best teams in the nation and be able to score. And I don't think they're going to be able to score a lot on that Indiana defense, but they're going to do enough to show the nation that, yeah, they're definitely a top 10 team, but they're a top 5 team. They're a top tier team, and they're not a joke. And I mean, they were well respected being above Ohio State, even with 1 loss.
Right.
But they deserve a little bit more credit. They need to jump up a little bit more. Definitely a top 5 team, and they're going to show that this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is their first playoff statement. Obviously, they get to face Notre Dame as well, and then they're pulling for UCF as well so that they can face us at our best and make another statement. But this is statement number 1. You got to pass every single test, and they know that, and they're going to go into Indiana knowing exactly what they need to do because they did it last year, right? And they didn't make the playoffs. We did it a couple years ago. We didn't make the playoffs. We did it a couple times, didn't make the playoffs. So they know that it has to do more. They have to do more. They have to do more. And I think they're going to go out, and Desmond Ridder is a beast. Luke Fickell, as long as he hasn't already accepted the USC job and get everybody on his bad side, he's a great coach. So I think they're going to roll as well. I have Cincinnati winning big. I don't know what the spread. I think they're only like 4-point favorites, but I think it's a double-digit game. I think they win pretty big. So now into the ranked
Real
matches.
quick,
Yeah, what's up?
Shout out to Cincinnati's AD, their whole sports program
Yeah,
for getting these. I mean, with like we've seen it as Gator fans, like whenever you slot these games, it's not for next year; it's for a couple years in advance. So shout out to them knowing what they had and getting Luke Fickell and starting to
yeah,
plan these games, start these challenges, get these things going, get these Notre Dame games, these Indiana games, these non-conference games that are really fucking big name people, and get college football people who sit there, whatever people sit in that round room and make their votes, get them to really notice that Cincinnati can beat anybody on any stage in any conference. It doesn't have to be a non-power 5 group of 5 school.
right.
We'll beat anybody in the power fucking 5. We're just not going to slate Alabama. We're not that stupid. But yeah, I really like that. And I wish UCF would have started this whole thing 5-6 years ago when we got Scott Frost and on the end of George O'Leary's huge run that he had in his last 5 years as our head coach. That would have been great. But so shout out to that program for really having confidence in what they thought they had and buying into it. And it's going to pay out this year. And it's going to help. We have another couple years, but at least whenever we do play the Gators, it's going to be SEC versus Big 12 in 2023, which is going to hype up the game a lot more. But yeah, Cincinnati definitely did it big, and they're going to get even bigger games once they are in the Big 12, more so than UCF because they started 3-4 years earlier.
Well, to echo your point too, when they scheduled Notre Dame, so this is the 2021 season, back in, I think it was like 2016 when they scheduled Notre Dame, we beat them 60, it was like 63-7 at the end of the third quarter, and there was a hurricane and we had to stop and we had to leave. That Notre Dame scheduled them thinking they were going to be just a cupcake. Let's get the guys some reps. Let's get these second and third stringers in. And to your point, Cincinnati believed in what they had and they flipped the script on them. So yeah, shout out to them for sure. So let's move on to the ranked matchups. We have 3 of them. And I'll start out with this one. And it's the team that I called the best team in the Pac-12, which I'm now probably going to have to walk back for Oregon, obviously. But Arizona State travels to the future Big 12 to be our opponent, BYU. And it's a challenge of 2-0 teams. We got 19 Arizona State. We got 23 BYU. But I am going to continue to ride myself and say that Arizona State is the best team in the Pac-12. And I think they're going to beat BYU. I think they're going to beat them pretty handily and take it down. I think Arizona State really is them boys, and they're going to be facing somebody in the Pac-12 is going to make the playoffs this year, I think, and Arizona State's going to make some real noise.
I don't think they're going to be the breaks off of them. I definitely have to give the nod to Arizona State, but if I'm an over/under better, I'm betting over 60 on this one.
Oh yeah, it's going
to be high scoring. It's going to be a lot, but I think it'll be under 2 touchdowns. It's not going to be too far spread off. But yeah, you got to give it to Arizona State. They have it on both sides of the ball. Anytime you hear anything about a BYU, anything in the NFL, it has to do with an offensive guy, running back, quarterback, and Arizona State. They just always, I mean, granted, it's usually special teams guys that come out and they back up defensive tackles and stuff like that, but they are able to produce at all ends at every position in the NFL. So I almost said Tony Dungy. God damn it.
Herm Edwards.
I don't know why I always get them.
I get them confused too.
All the fucking time. But he's no nonsense. You see what these guys
play to win the game.
You see what these guys who have a lot of experience are able to do with these guys, and like Deion Sanders with Jackson State. The experience he has and what he's able to teach these kids is by far anything that BYU's coaches are able to give that university. So you got to give the nod to Arizona State. And it took a couple years. Herm Edwards knew his vision. He knew what he wanted. And I think these next 2 or 3 years, we're going to be able to see what he wanted to do. This is his recruiting classes now going into their 3rd and 4th year. And this is what Herm Edwards' vision was. And it's a damn fucking good one. And I'm excited to see it play out.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited too. Obviously, I called them the best team in the Pac-12, and I hope they prove me right. Marco hopes they don't, by the way, alumni from Arizona, but they stink. So the next matchup is 22 Auburn traveling to Penn State, who is number 10. They're 2-0. They haven't looked all that impressive to me. I think they've got 2 lucky wins. But what do you have going on for Auburn and Penn State?
I got Dr. John Franklin coming out of this one with another dub. I love that man to death. I don't know why, but he's fucking amazing. He took that program from the fucking gutters and he keeps riding with them no matter what. And he's not getting fired. They will not fire him.
Yeah.
He seems to be the guy. They respect the fuck out of him for taking that program and the state that it was and brought them out of it. And now he's coming back into football relevance. Penn State seems to be a team that people fear. Nittany Lions going into Death Valley or whatever the fuck they
Happy Valley, I think they call it.
Huh?
Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. You're right. You are absolutely right. Going into Happy Valley, completely opposite of Death Valley. it seems to be a really. Are we back in high school? Like, is this 2005
That's
again?
what it feels like. Auburn and Penn State, baby.
Like, it's going to be a good game, but no, it's Penn State's game to lose, and they're not going to lose it. Dr. John Franklin is the fucking man, and anytime you can have a doctor as a head coach, it's got to be pretty smart. And most SEC people are pretty fucking stupid unless they're Nick Saban.
All right. Well,
just because we eat corn and stuff
right.
like that.
We got the corn eating. You've said that one a couple times now.
He probably eats Wagyu and shit like that.
I have Auburn. I have this as one of my upset picks.
Wow.
The other upset pick, I know I didn't ask you, but my other upset pick is Virginia beating North Carolina, and that'll be my unranked beating a ranked. But Auburn, I think, is going to upset Penn State and come out and beat them. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a low-scoring game. The over-under is only 53, and I know Seal's been wanting the overs on everything. I'm taking the under on this. This is two defensive teams that don't really throw the ball all that great and don't really put up a lot of points on offense. So I think Auburn is going to win a close, ugly game just because I feel like that's what the SEC does, man. Maybe I'm an SEC truther, which Eddie would be very sad about, but I think they know how to win tough games, and I think that's what they're going to do is win a tough game. So we might be choking up and not be able to talk about this last ranked matchup.
We don't have to at all. This one is definitely one that I don't want to talk about while Travis gets his lungs together over there. It's number whatever, Florida against number
11. We're number 11.
Alabama.
It's in Gainesville. Does that help at all?
Yeah, it does. The crowd's going to be there. They're going to be rowdy. Hopefully, Anthony Richardson isn't as hobbly as it looked. It didn't actually look that bad. I pulled my hammy. Actually, I pulled my hammy against you back in the day, and it was a light tweak, and I was able to put pressure on it. And 3 days later, I was good to go again, being able to play basketball and run full speed. So hopefully, it's a tweak. Hopefully, he didn't tear anything. Because if he tore something, we're fucked for the next 7 weeks. And the next 3 weeks are the worst fucking weeks of the fucking season. So we definitely need Anthony Richardson to be able to start and play a whole game because it's going to be a whole game to play. Our defense is good. It's not going to be a fucking slap dick game, as Coach JB would say from what was that? I know the show, but forget the. It was in Indiana. Independence College. No slap dick's going to be on the field for that game. I don't think. I think it's going to be a good game. It's not going to be like last year where it's kind of a shootout kind of game. Neither team has that dominant arm on the field like Mac Jones.
You don't think Bryce Jones or whatever that kid's name is? Bryce Young is that guy?
He is going to be that guy, but he's still really young right now, and I don't think they got the offense molded to what they had for Mac Jones, able to air it out at all time. Like that game last year, it was a fucking classic. Like we're going to be watching that on the SEC network in 5-6 years. It'll
be on there Saturday right before this game,
probably, yeah. But it was a great game to watch. But we don't have either of those guys at quarterback, and I don't think either team has that on offense. You got to remember. Alabama lost a quarterback that went to New England and stole the starting job from a veteran in Cam Newton. And then, they had the Heisman winner, first one since 93, whatever fucking Desmond Howard had.
Yeah.
First wide receiver selected in 20 years almost. So, they lost a lot there, but they, like we know, their second string, third string guys that they had last year, they're starters now. And last year they would have beat a lot of teams in the college football rankings, but it's going to be a fun game to watch. But I'm a Gator fan, so I gotta say we're going to win. Bryce Young is going to get injured in the first quarter, and then they're going to bring out their second string quarterback. He's going to get injured in the first snap. They're going to be going with a third stringer, and they're going to go to a run heavy offense. We're going to win 35-27.
All right. I can't be as bold and as confident as you, but if your situation plays out, we'll win the game. But I don't think we'll win the game. But
I couldn't say that. I can't.
as a betting man, I'm gonna make it in the Gators' favor. Still, we might not. We will beat the spread. The spread is 14.5 points. I would say put some money on that. We're gonna beat the spread. We won't lose by 15 or more. I can't see that happening because, like you said, the defenses are going to be more the case this year. It's not the teams that can just put up points like that. And I won't talk about who's going to win the money line. I don't know, whatever, it could happen. But we're gonna beat the spread, and that's where we'll leave that. But where do we get out of here on this? I mean, we talked a lot about.
You gave
football.
your upset pick. I didn't give mine.
Oh yeah,
take the easy way out. Michigan State's 2-0 right now. Miami sucks dick, so I'm gonna take Michigan State over Miami at home against Miami in their home. So that's the bet. Miami sucks. ACC sucks.
It shouldn't even be an upset anymore at this point.
No, but hey, 24 ranked Miami,
and they're the betting favorites right now too.
Yeah, they're 6.5 point favorites. Yeah, definitely it's when you look at the point spread and all that stuff, it's a good
big upset. Yeah, it's
nice taking the easy route here. Miami sucks. Michigan State actually looks pretty fucking good this year. So that's my upset pick. I usually take the easy routes. I find the easy ones to go with, but this one doesn't look as easy on paper. But yeah, we both know it's probably going to be a close game, but Miami's going to find a way to fuck it up. Koa's doing something, isn't he?
No, I think it's outside. I don't know what happened. It sounded like a arguing chick. So I don't think it's my chick arguing unless she's talking to the TV. But anyways, yeah, so that's a good pick. I mean, obviously, but I think both of our picks could happen for sure. Virginia, we both picked bad teams to lose. But so let's go out of here. There's not really a cool, fun, crazy headline to lead.
Yeah, there is. Did you see about the cat that fell at Hard Rock Stadium?
What?
The Miami game this past weekend?
No, I didn't see that.
So there was a stray cat, and it ended up crawling from the second balcony, like went down and was like holding on to a banner. And like one claw came down, and then it was like grabbing for it, and then it fell. It fell. Jesus, take the wheel. It got caught by an American flag.
Really?
Yeah. God bless America. Wow. The cat was saved. I mean, it wasn't fully caught by the flag. It kind of slowed its fall. Yeah, and it looked like from the angle that I saw, it came through and kind of fell down, but they picked it up and held it up like Simba.
Nice.
And, let it be known the cat was okay. The crowd went crazy. The announcers in the stadiums were talking about it during the football game.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was awesome, dude, and it was crazy. And Miami sucks, and they have a terrible time going on. They did get the dub this weekend, but man, it's got to be a hard time to be Miami. But when people can come together and save a life with an American flag
and the whole stadium cheer, I mean, come together and have that.
That's as American as it gets, and at this time in the year, it's football. 9/11 was Saturday. A cat got saved by American flag on 9/11. 20 years later, how more American can it get? Yeah. Not even be a stud and not a scrub. Be an American, because that's what we're here to be. And love yourself, love your neighbors, and love your fucking kitty cats.
Mine's under my chair, and I love them.